and yeah, I'm just going to jump into it. I'm a rising senior at NYC High School, and my base project here is the gesture controlled car with an accelerometer. I chose this project because, one, I thought it was just cool to be able to control things with your hand, and on top of that, it was very like simple compared to the other projects. And I knew that because of its simplicity, I would be able to learn the fundamentals since I had like no prior experience with coding or robotics. The main components of this project include NRF modules, which are basically a wireless device that are able to send and receive data, a motor driver, which is able to interfere between the motors and control circuits, an Arduino Uno, which works with code to create unique functions on a variety of devices, an Arduino Nano, which is basically like a mini version of that, and the accelerometer, which is this thing right here, which is a device that is able to detect motion and the acceleration of motion. So basically how this works is I uploaded a code onto my Arduino Nano where it would be able to read the values that the accelerometer gets from my hand motions and send them through the NRF modules onto my Arduino Uno, where those same values would then be interpreted as commands. So for example, if I were to move the accelerometer forward, it would like create a reading of like 0, and that 0 would be sent onto my Arduino Uno, where it would be then interpreted as a command to move forward. And so I have a demonstration video that I could like screen share. So yeah, I also added Neopixel Lights where it would change colors for every direction that the car could move. So as you saw there, when it moves forward it's green, when it stops it's red, when it goes back it's like a yellowish shade, when it turns left it turns blue, and finally when it turns right it becomes yellow. And so yeah, in this project I faced like a variety of different challenges. One of the first ones would be working with the breadboard, since I eventually understood how it worked, but like to whenever I pinned things down, they were like very unstable. So they weren't all that reliable to work with. And so instead, I just used male and female wires to make direct connections with my components. Another issue I faced was working with the NRF modules, since it was very difficult to actually get them to communicate with each other at first. And on top of that, I ran into this little problem where because I was using an adapter, they required 5 volts instead of the 3.3 volts that I had been using. And it was just like a real hassle. Like I tried like a variety of different codes. I like checked my pinnings like hundreds of times. And I also like used a set of code that would be able to test the connections between the NRF modules and their Arduinos. And so eventually, once I found that out, I was able to finally get them to communicate. Another challenge I faced was being able to understand and write code, because like I said, prior to Bootstrap engineering, I didn't really have any experience with code or robotics. And so I had to pay like really close attention to my instructors and everything that they told me. I'm still pretty iffy with code, but I at least got like the basics of it, and I hope to continue studying it. Overall, I just had a wonderful experience at Bootstrap engineering, as this project exposed me to multiple aspects of engineering, such as mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and computer science. I came into this program unsure of whether or not I want to pursue a degree in the field of engineering, and I came out of it wanting to expand my newfound knowledge and to master my craft. Now more than ever, I'm convinced that I want to pursue electrical engineering as my major in college, and I hope to be able to work with electronics when I grow up. Any questions?